Hello everybody, 118 Shadow here. So, I know I set this for about an hour earlier than usual, but then I forgot that we had the new episode of Cardfight Vanguard happening right after my initial times, so I reset it to just after. I hope everyone got to see the episode's premiere. If not, I'm not going to spoil anything too drastic, but what I can say is that there was an unexpected addition to the cards that we were going to see in that episode today. But let's go ahead and get into what we're doing today. Some Lyrical Monasterio Sparkling Star box openings. And we'll see what I can pull. This is the first Divine set for Lyrical Monasterio, where it's just wholly Lyrical Monasterio in comparison to Divine Set 1. Because I know Bushiroad was attempting to add Lyrical Monasterio to the main sets, which it's an odd take, given that it's good that you get Lyrical Monasterio without having to go to specific boosters that would only give it to you. But at the same time, there ended up being too many different cards to pick up. But it looks like Bushiroad is going back to their normal routine, and there's definitely a lot of hype in picking up this one because of the LSR artworks, which go back to it's more of the swimsuit variant, but a little bit different. Okay, let's go ahead and get started and see what we get here. You do get normal triggers in this set as well, and because it's the first of the Divine sets, there'll be an over trigger in here too. Kokermal is a Coral support card. Then we've also got the new Absolute Zero series. This is one piece of the ride line. There are front triggers. And what do you know? We got the over trigger in the first pack. Thank you very much. Yep. So this time the over trigger is the reprint of Blessing Diva Grisaille. Of course, all these different over triggers that we keep on getting ever since set 1 are all the same artworks that we got from set 1, because set 1 decided to give us 4 to 5 different artworks. Then we got Through the Starry Skies, Irmhead, and Ern's correct follower, Piracio. So one of the other big themes regarding this set is the starry seas, the starry skies sort of theme. So you're going to see lots of night skies and starry skies as part of the artwork for these cards. I would say that makes them look very gorgeous, though. At the same time, it almost makes me think I am pulling a really big card at the very end because of that dark theme along with the sparkles. So let's see. We saw, wow, almost everything here was the same. We got the starter for Absolute Zero, Rix. And then a heal trigger. Then we got Israel. This one, what is this? Guardian Circle. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. It's a wing support card that gives a 2 or more crit attacker -1 crit, which is pretty interesting. And then we got a triple rare here, and it's an encounter unit, Prism Image Vert. For those of you who remember the Break Ride format, as well as the Stride format, this card's all about basically re-riding and going off Break Ride skill for additional pluses and bonuses. Although I think, what does it do this time? I forgot. If you didn't ride, you Soul Blast to ride from your hand and ride it as stand. If you rode, you draw. Choose a Vanguard 10k. Oh, wait. So basically, choose one of your Vanguards that gets 10. And then if the opponent's Vanguard, it gets all your front row 10k instead of... Ah, I see. And then when this unit attacks, use a rear guard, return it to hand, and call. So multi-attack in that case. To answer that question in the Penguin Dragon, I'm not going to be opening a case on stream. I'll be opening 4 boxes total. So we're on the we're on the first box right now. We got 1 triple rare so far. Persona Ride is... It's technically No, that's a little bit off. Because if you use Blackmire on a unit, I'm pretty sure it doesn't erase Persona Ride. However, it does erase Twin Drive. It does erase Twin Drive on a Vanguard. So, if you were on grade 3 and you couldn't Persona Ride, oh right, I believe it does. But the thing is, the Persona Ride is still the applied effect when you ride on top of it regardless. So, can you... No, because the first skill states that you didn't... Wait, did not ride with a card's... Oh, did not ride with a card's ability. That is a good question. If you did not ride with a card's ability, though, did not activate Persona Ride. So I would assume you should be able to do that. That is a very good question, though. But I would assume you should be able to do it. Let's see. Energy Blast 3. Oh, pretty generic. Just Energy Blast 3 to give a unit 5k. A draw trigger. And then Stay Awake Carvan. This one's actually pretty nice. It's a 13k if you played a Curse Play order. And then you can discard a card to get a Curse Play from your drop. And then we got Conventional Evening Rescue, which is a magazine support card. What was this? If you played a magazine, choose a card from the drop, put it to soul, and give this 5k. Only when it boosts. I'm not sure how much that's necessary. In terms of playing, I think you would rather play Medial instead, or what was her name? I can't remember. The one where it goes to soul during battle phase and draws you a card anyway. So that'll fill up your soul regardless. Kyoka does have a few different variants of just how you can play it with tech cards. And what else do we get here? Valyria. Valyria was Herminia. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a card which can get an extra crit as long as you're in powerful state, which is actually kind of insane. And then we got Hasseret. So Hasseret, in a set 3, this card was all about allowing units from the back row to attack as well as units from the front row. So the way it works here is that it's almost like playing Spike Brothers in a sense. The card allows you to allow any unit to attack, draw a card, and then put the card on the bottom of the deck. Although it doesn't actually let every single unit attack, it just gives all your rear guards the ability to use that skill if they attack. It's a little iffy. I guess progressively we might start to get bigger support cards that will allow that to happen later. Okay, that's Lever Soul support. A heavy Soul Blast in order to guard from the soul. And Coral, of course, that's in this set. We got Shiny Star Coral too. And we got another crit trigger. Titan Shooting Star Romirta. Lore and Arrow support. If you sing a song, Energy Blast 3, get a song from your drop. And Nokno. So Nokno got a grade 2 variant added to this set. And what does this one do again? It's Cannonball was put into order from order to drop 10k plus. And then if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, Counterblast Soul Blast when it attacks. If you didn't do drive checks for your rear guard, this can also do drive checks. Yeah. Michu is looking to be one of the more popular ones to pick up for competitive value out of this set. And ultimately, being able to perform so many drive checks and multiple attacks helps its case. Coral, of course. This one, what is this one? When boosting and you energy blasted 30 or more at the same time, 5k plus, so pretty simple. Siana support, this one is Spectacular Viewpoint Lurumi. This one, what does it do again? Plus power for each open front row, as well as becoming a 10k booster for Siana. And then Light of the Flower. This one is absolute 0 support as well. Okay, actually, let me double check this. What exactly did I do? Look at the top 5, choose an absolute 0 or Judge Maiden, put it in your hand, shuffle, and when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater, 5k. So, pretty simple effect. Essentially get more pieces and gain some more power on swing. Let's see what else we grab here. We got a new Vert support card. Okay, the camera doesn't want to focus for some reason. Put this into soul, look at the top 5, choose a card, call it to rear, and shuffle. So basically replacing itself in order to get other cards. Absolute 0 support. This one, right, this one goes back to your hand in order to be an extra 5k shield. Kind of the opposite of the other one where it was Energy Blast 3 to get 5. A common Sienna support card. And then this one is an interesting one. If your opponent retires this, then you Soul Blast to draw a card, and it's a grade 3. There really isn't much reason for your opponent to retire it, given other than the fact that it's a grade 3. Saestis, that's a coral support card. Gains a lot of power on swing and based off corals. And Tolturi. This one's an interesting one. Almost feels like the reprint of Aura, where it searches for an order from the top 5 of your deck, and if you didn't find one, you just get the refund on your counterblast. But it can't search Regulus pieces. Aura can. However, with Aura, you do have to hit. We got Tectera, which is a trick treat. What did this one do again? Placed on rear, search deck or drop for a trick tree, put to hand. And if you search the deck... Oh, but it's a grade 3. But it's Energy Blast as opposed to Counterblast. And depending on the support that you play, the deck does use a lot of Counterblast. Little Meteor RDL. This should be a Celestial support. The White Wings effect, if you have a grade 3 or greater, this thing is another 10k shield. And then if it's discarded, look at the top card of deck, put it on the top or bottom, so basically scry the top of your deck. Then we also got another absolute 0 support card, as well as Gimel. This one is Wallista support. Okay, let's keep going. And what was this one? At the end of the battle, this attacked a Vanguard. Soul Blast a trigger unit to return this to hand. But it's just a grade 3 generic. I don't see much reason to put that back to hand unless you were playing it for its Persona ride. When your countable card is put, drop to order zone. Put a grade 3 on the bottom, and this unit gets 10. So, just an extra power bonus, but it's also grade 3, so I can't imagine. Petralka. What did we get here, though? Star Delivery Tamiya. Come on. When plays Trick or Treat from your drop, put it into Soul, and if your drop is 5 or more Trick or Treats, draw, and this unit gets 10k. So Counterblast usage, and it gets more powerful as well. And then pair of rares there. I don't remember if there was any Petralka support in this set. It is a shame, though. But to be fair, Petralka can use anything as long as it's not specific, given that... Well, even if you were to play something very specific that is name specific, I don't think there's much reason to play it in something like Petralka. But there's always options like Top Idol Aqua. What is this? When this unit... Oh, but it has to be rode upon by a mermaid. I don't think Petralka's a mermaid, is it? Look at the top 5. Choose a grade 2 or greater from among them. Reveal it, put it to hand, and shuffle. But the nice thing about Top Idol Aqua is that it's a pretty generic search. And then we got Pacifica support. Diva of Sea Song Bellimer. When placed on rear, choose a grade 3 Pacifica from drop. Put it on the bottom. And then Energy Blast to draw. And when it attacks, give a unit 5k. And put that unit on the bottom of the deck afterward. So, putting cards on the bottom of the deck for use for other skills later, I suppose. But it doesn't really give you any plus in that case. It's power and setup, I suppose. I don't remember exactly how Pacifica works. Soars, and then Starlight, Coral, the same two corals. Vieta, this is Kyrie support. What did this do again? If you put it on rear on Guardian, choose a Vanguard and it gets 10 until the end of battle. So it can be used as guard or power. And what is this one? Sky-colored Tranquility Judge Maiden Arca. That is a long name, but it's definitely absolute 0 support. Discard it from hand. If you have a Vanguard with absolute 0, you energy charge. And then if you have an absolute 0 that attacks and you don't have a card, this card, call it from drop. And when it attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater absolute 0, 10k plus until the end of the battle. So one of your typical power lines for support. Given that absolute 0 works off of... yeah, I guess you could say that. Actually, when absolute 0... it is kind of like a roaming prison dragon. A little bit different, but yeah. And the problem with absolute 0 pairing with that, though, is that you'll have to discard for the multiple attacks that you end up doing. And the other problem is that you can't call 2 of them. Okay, we got a reprint trigger as well. Precious Tune Edwig. And then we got... what is this? Cannonball support as well. Waiting for this day replica, which is Michu. Put this unit to soul, get a glistening mood, ride it. Ah, right. Since we had all those promos that would ride the glitters from deck, this is actually in the set, so you don't have to worry about grabbing it as a promo later. And our first encounter perfect guard for Lyrical, Mermaid Idol Ellie. If anyone who played the game before remembers this card, that was our very first perfect guard for Bermuda Triangle. It eventually got a bunch of different adaptations where it was all about guarding. And one of them is actually still banned from play right now, which is a G Guardian. The starter Shizuku, which is used for the Vert Ride line, but you could use it for anything. And then we got a frame rare of Like a Candy Kukrov. Well, it says Like a Candy. Does that mean it's Trick or Treat? No, it's Medial. When you play it on rear guard, if you have Medial, look at the top card, put it on the top or discard. If you discard it, this will get 5k. You would think saying Like a Candy would automatically make it a Trick Treat support card. Then a pair of rares. Okay. The starter for absolute 0. And then a few triggers. Wow, we got a lot of triggers in this one. And then we got Fonsel. It gets 5k for each time the grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Vert was placed. So the more times you ride Vert in the turn, the more powerful it gets. And we got Ern's correct follower, Redita. If you played aim to be the strongest idol, your opponent can't intercept, and when your Vanguard's attack hits, you can stand this from the back row. I'd say that's not bad. Preventing intercepts is definitely a good one in case you were attempting to hit the front row and doing your restands. So it's definitely not a bad card at all. Okay. That one is also absolute 0 support. Yeah, especially when it comes to all these front row wipes or ways to just take care of stuff like that. Yeah, Dayusha does have that effect. I remember I got hit with it during the Constructed Cup. Divinez, this is Lalifa support. If you have a Vanguard with Lalifa, Soul Blast 2 Lalifas, look at the top 5 cards, choose a grade 2 or greater with a different card name, and call it. And then Rafska. If you have a Hasseret, plus 5k, Soul Blast 1, return this unit to hand. Okay, and then the last pack from the first box. Let's see. Nora, Catrier, another trigger, and what else? Ah, we got the reprint of Clear Shimmer Aura. This is the one I was talking about before, where if its boosted attack hits, you can get an order from your deck and put it in your hand. And then we got Cherish Starlight Reshelte. This is Luticia's support. Did this one work again? If it's discarded from hand by your card's ability, and you have a Luticia's, Energy Blast 3 to draw. And then when you play a Curse Play order during the turn, Counter Blast to call this and give it 5k from the drop. Well, there you go. That gives us 2 effective Roaming Prison Dragons for different archetypes. Well, to summarize on the first box, at least, let's see. We got 6 double rares. We got 5 triple rares in this one. We got the 1 Mermaid Idol Ellie reprint, as well as 1 silver, 2 frame rares, and you'll get an over trigger in every box as well. That covers box 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second one. I was saying this, Nora's big. Nokno is a big hit. Nokno will get another 10k from its own skill, and then on top of that, it can perform its own drive checks, as long as you didn't already use that skill. Okay. Let's see what we get here. But the idea, hitting like a truck, see, wow, we got the over trigger in the first pack 2 times in a row now. And then just a pair of rares. But hitting like a truck sort of skills and power gains is becoming so much more commonplace now. Power gains are getting higher and higher, and only a few decks continuously get shield rates to really keep up with it. If they didn't get shield rates, then decks are instead getting a lot of additional draw powers so that they can fish for pieces, as well as just get a lot of additional guard wherever they can. Control aspects are starting to really pop up a lot more too, like how Michu can retire 2 units in 1 turn. You have Shoujo Doji and Varga Drax. There's still so many variations of different ways of playing the game right now. Okay, here's a new one. Dreams intertwining amidst waves. Reverent, or yeah. When your rearguard is returned to hand during the main phase, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, put this to soul to give your Vanguard. All your rearguards get 5 until the end of turn. I don't feel too strongly about that one. That's very specific to a few certain deck types, and then it can only be during the main phase just to get a power bonus. I really don't know. It's half the overtrigger skill for 1 turn, basically. What else? Iserseal, and we got Luticia's dress up. How did this one work again? When placed on Vanguard, search your deck or drop for a curse play, put it in hand, and then of course it restands like the original. And if you have at least 6 curse plays on the soul, the -1 drive does not apply. You don't get the draw like with the original, but this also gives your front row another 10k. Harmonix Messiah. I'm not gonna deny that. Yeah, actually, when you think about it, let's compare that. A little bit more than Haseret in terms of how big that text box is. Yeah, that is a really big text box. Jeez. More and more skills, and those mandatory ones like the dress-up ones don't really make it any better. Okay, another frame rare. This time it's Warm Shining Light for Glacier. This one is actually pretty good. It's a Lever Sewers card where, what does it do again? You Energy Blast 3 to call a card from Soul, and then you can Soul Blast 1 to give a Vanguard 5k. It's very, very useful for that deck. Just a free call, so if you use the one grade 3 to shove a Rhesus into the Soul, for instance, you could use this to call the Rhesus back out from the Soul and then just pump up your Vanguard by yet another 10k. So it basically turns your Soul into a calling resource, which is something that the deck didn't use too much of. Rashilto. So we got another one of those. Liversaurs is still my favorite deck to come out of Trick or Trick. But with all the Siana support that we've been seeing, honestly, I kind of want to build that deck now as well. Oh, this is pretty nice. A silver rare of Singular Heart Rurika. This one is a Coral support card, and a really nice one at that. It's both a countercharger and it gives your Coral Soul, which is basically the whole concept of how Coral works. Yep. I mean, we're talking about hit like a truck. Coral is one of those decks where if you turbo that Soul pretty hard, you hit like a major truck even on your first ride. Coral, if I ever find it here. Sedna. Right, when it's rode upon by Aqua, you Soul Blast, get a grade 2 or greater from the top 7 and put it to hand. And then Tumaheren. At the end of the battle, it attacked or boosted a card with S, or Soul Blast and Asterisk and return this to hand. So it's pretty similar to that Energy Blast return to hand, except it's Asterisk specific. Kyrie can hit like a truck as well with all these different power bonus types of skills that it's been getting. Kyrie is so good now too. I haven't gotten to play against it in a while, so I just don't really know how I deal with it. Welcome to the Starlight Festival, the whole theme of this pack. But man, this condition is very rough. Counterblast 1 to put 3 grade 0s from drop to Soul, and if you put 3 critical triggers, draw a card. You can only play 8 critical triggers to begin with, so using this to put 3 crits into Soul, honestly, that's a card that Unica would love to have. But at the same time, if you could put them from bind as well, just to ensure that you could get the draw one, that would help Unica. But of course, Unica is not Lyrical Monasterio, so that's not happening. We got another Vert. Then we're getting Rix. Cutcher. Another frame rare. Clear Heart Israel, the Black Wings ones that can minus a crit. And then Amelica and Lumery. Okay. Come on. For some reason, these packs have been getting harder to open, even with the little nick. That's how I felt about set 3. I think Festival Collection 2024 was okay, but yeah, this has just been happening a lot more often. We got Palvi this time, okay. So that is the reprint of the effect front trigger that originally came from set 2. We got Ellie in here, and then Fonso. And then Coral. Kokramal, which is Coral support. The front, Raska, and Kodede. Did I look at... Oh, right, this is a Lever Souls grade 3. Yeah, it's just a grade 3 that gives your Vanguard 5k for no cost. That's the thing. Bushiroad keeps on making all these rares and commons where if you just don't get any of the higher rare pieces, you could play these, but you hardly ever see anyone in a situation where that actually happens. Avnis and a regular fridge, sir. Okay. Okay, and then... Right, what is this one again? Offering prayers to the starlight. You counterblast 2, choose a Vanguard. When it attacks, choose a unit. If you chose 6, and then all the chosen units have different names, this gets crit +1 until the end of battle. Well, asking for Petralka support, I guess that's about as close as you get. I mean, you do have to play Rurika's regular double rare. Ah, and we got the Coral support grade 3, which is Luminous Melody Illunicia. Hey, come on, it gives a crit. But yeah, it takes away the counterblast you used to re-ride Petralka, which hurts. Okay, this one is, if you have 4 more cards with Coral in the Soul, draw a card, 5k for a counterblast. And then same thing for the second skill, except it's returned to hand for a Soul Blast. And finally, we got... Ironhild, which is a Felty Rosa support card. At the end of the battle, it attacked and you had Felty Rosa. Choose a back row, stand it, it gets 5k, and you put this card to Soul. So it opens up your front row. And then we got Mystic Knight Lucluna, which is a Medial support card. You look at the top 7 of the deck, choose 2 non-sentinels, put one of them into your hand, and put the other one into the drop. Medial is all about trying to ensure that the top card of your deck is not a trigger before you start going into your battle phase. And then there was the Trick or Treat support card that it got before, where it turns its skill into a call 2 instead of a call 1. So, if you capitalize off the new Medial, it still provides a crit to whatever it calls. So you can call 2 units that will permanently have 2 crit for the remainder of the turn. And that can be pretty scary. Especially since if it's 3 times in a row. We got the over trigger in the first pack 3 times in a row now. Wow. But yeah, what was her name? I'm trying to remember the card from set 3, the grade 2. Basically the one that can re-stand for Medial. So if you give it a crit, it'll swing with 2 crit twice. If you happen to call 2 of them from drop, then that means you're swinging for 2 crit 4 times in one turn, which can be pretty insane. Sagrita, we've pulled one. This is the cover card of the set. What does it... Let me check its exact effect. You and your opponent get the following. If it's the 4th battle of this turn or more when this unit would attack, it can't attack unless you discard a card from your hand. Then you can Energy Blast 4 to give this 10k in a drive. And when you discard a card, then you can Counterblast to draw. But you can only do that once per turn. So basically, it takes away advantage for decks that capitalize off doing a lot of attacks per turn, which could be pretty deadly for certain ones that can do multiple attacks, but don't do well in terms of keeping their advantage. Zorga and Shoujo Doji are the ones that come to mind there. Scotus and Krail. And to some extent, I suppose, Bastion, but then with Bastion, you're also probably just going to discard your grade 3s. Do the dominate effects towards their attack count? Let me see. All of your and your opponents, if it's the 4th battle of the turn or more. Since you dominate the unit and it becomes yours, it's still considered a rearguard circle. And since it counts it based off the turn count, then it should force you to discard regardless, as long as the attack is the 4th or higher. So I would imagine that applies. But the thing is, to be honest, while it would count it for... We got Rosa. Okay. When this unit is placed on rear, choose a grade 3 with Vert. Reveal it if you reveal the card or have a grade 3 Vert. +5 and draw. And when this attack hits, if you have a grade 3 Vert, countercharge and put this unit to your hand. Yeah. So the dominated attack should count towards the overall attack count for the turn, because it's only counting attacks for the turn and per unit. It's not counting how many attacks the master did. Okay, what else? And then we got... Is this Feltirosa? Yeah, the ghost in the background was such a giveaway. When placed on rear guard, if you have a Feltirosa, choose a Feltirosa from the drop to put to soul. And then when it attacks, this unit gets 5 until the end. And then Feltirosa... Okay. So basically it sets up your Persona Ride, and it also sets up the... Easter Feltirosa to give the extra bonuses a turn early. But of course you have to discard a grade 3 Feltirosa first to maximize that effect. But that's another thing that I've been noticing. A frame rare of Larumi, that is a very nice looking one. That's another thing that I've been noticing, is that there are a lot of interesting effects that are being applied to certain ride lines, so that you can just basically fetch your Persona Ride far more easily, either through the drop or through additional skills. I mean, you already had stuff like Freyhot from set 9, which generically just picked up Persona Rides from the deck, but it was pretty costly to do so, which was the problem. We got Mediel. Let's refresh on how this works again. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 with Mediel in its card name, all the front row units get 5. And then you can choose a card from drop to call, reveal the top card, and if it's a normal unit, you draw, and the unit called gets a crit. So yeah, if you combine it with that one double rare from set 4, you call 2 units instead, and if you reveal a normal unit, both of them get a crit, which is very scary. In a sense, it's almost... You're basically playing something like Eva or... Wow, why am I blanking on the Trick or Treat card's name? A silver rare of Clear. That's pretty nice. What was this one? When placed on rear, discard a card, search deck or drop for a grade 3 with Vert, reveal it, put it into hand, and if you search deck, shuffle. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vert, this unit gets 5k. So, power and cycling. Not bad. Alright, now we're on the right side. Rare. And this is a Hasseret support card. Summer Sky Locust Xenon. When placed on rear guard from hand, if you have a Hasseret, choose a crit from your drop and you put... Oh, it refreshes critical triggers. Then if you have a grade 3 or greater Hasseret, search for a grade 2 with a different card name. Or a grade 1. Call it, and this unit gets 5. That's the interesting thing about Hasseret support cards is that they're all much weaker than your typical power lines. So an early game rush is a whole lot harder with Hasseret. But then all the skills give additional power. And because you can attack a few more times with the deck, that's supposed to be the justification. This is a powerful support card as well. Rarco? When this unit gets 5 for Soul Blast 1, and if it attacks, draw and gets 10k. And then we got another Rivet. Powerful is certainly a strong deck, though. With all the ease of being able to get all those additional drive checks from your rear guards, I can't remember the unit's name right now, but it was a triple rare from set 3. Then we got Tomorrow. And I have to play against that deck every so often at locals. It's scary to have to keep on dealing with the extra drive checks. And the deck, powerful being the name, the rear guard power rates are insane sometimes. Frolic Hopper Funat. This is a Lilifa support card. If you have a grade 3 or grade, this thing gets 10k power and 10k shield. And at the end of the battle, while boosted, choose a grade 2 or greater rear guard and return it to hand. Oh, and it includes itself because it's a grade 2 or greater rear guard. That means you can use it as an additional 10k shield as needed. And if I remember correctly, Lilifa herself also gave power bonuses for shield. We got a reprint of Edwig, then Fonsil and Alvernus. Okay. We're almost there. 3 more packs to go. A frame rare of Redetta, the Intercept Sealer. How many effect triggers per box? It's only been 1 per box so far. And I believe that's going to be the case going forward. But at the very least, you do get 1 per box. But compared to how we got them in set 2, those, I believe you got all 3 triggers in 1 box. Which ups the worth of the original set 2 boxes, of course. And this is the first pseudo main set reprint of these triggers. So it's technically their 3rd printing. That still makes them a whole lot harder to get than most of the other effect triggers for the other nations. And our last card is Sedna. Okay, and with that, I think we've been through it all. Oh wait, nope, there we go. I was wondering where that last one went. 1 more box to go. So far it's been pretty standard. We've seen silvers, frame rares, but nothing really big yet. So let's see what we can get here. All right, last box. All right. Kokomo. A front. Four for 4. That's 4 for 4. You can't make that up. I swear you can't make that up. The over trigger in the first pack for all 4 boxes. And interestingly enough, always on the left side. Can they be mapped? I mean, there's a possibility. In the past, Vanguard boxes could be mapped, but eventually... we got Michu. Let's take a quick look here. So, when placed by writing the original, search for a Nukno or a Cannonball, put it in your hand and activate Persona Ride. Then you can retire a card for your bind, and then reduce your Cannonball ability by Soul Blast 2, and then re-ride. And then the Cannonball effect is choose an opponent's rear guard to retire, and then this unit gets 10k. But yeah, Vanguard boxes used to be... I don't think they were mappable in terms of where the cards were. I think they may have been in the past, but there were a lot of boxes where if you pulled certain double rares or triple rares combinations, you would always get the same double rares and triple rares depending on which ones that you pulled. And you'll still see that sort of a mapping in boxes today, but it's not, what do you call it? It's not 100%. So they do have some variation. But yeah, it is weird that I was able to get the over trigger in the first pack on the left 4 straight times. I would imagine it's just coincidence at this point. I can't imagine that is permanently mappable. But I'm guessing it's a common... I'm going to guess that it's a common trend. Well, we're only opening a few boxes here anyway, so again, could very well just be coincidence. And we got Lilifa. Let me check how this works again. All grade 2 or graders get boost, and all your other grade 3 Lilifas get 20k shield. It only gives Lilifa grade 3's 20k shield. And only grade 3's, not even the ride line. Wow. When this unit attacks and you have grade 2 or only grade 2 or graders, choose 3 rear guards to put back to hand and call 2 grade 3's in the same column. Lilifa is effectively the bastion of Lyrical Monasterio. Effectively. What else? Aha! We got the reprint of the Cycler, Valshblan. This card came from Festival Collection 2023. And until the reprint was announced, this card's triple rare got up to like $60 to $80 at one point. One of the most expensive cards in the game. And thanks to this reprint, now you can pick them up for under 20. I would say for a limited time. It is a cycler. I imagine that it will eventually see a nice increase in price later. Frame rare of Top Idol Aqua. Okay. Then we got Grail and Camille. I mean, that's just my prediction. There is also the Energy Cycler Presea from Fated Clash. But Valshblan, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think the Persona Ride skill is really that great. It's just giving your front row... the Silver Rare Rosa. It's giving your front row an extra 5k for a counterblast. But I mean, that could be a make or break. But given just how much power rate that a lot of these decks put out nowadays, it feels almost redundant to be doing that sort of an effect. And we got Luinicia. That's pretty good. And then... we got Aura's reprint again and Alistia. Then we got... Vermeil. That's the Sienna support card. Revelt. Then, getting close to the end here. And we got, what was her name again? Luciuna. That's hard to say. Tongue twisted on that. Here's the other frame rare of the box, Revis. And then, since we got 2 frame rares with that, that means I think that means there's no other big card in this box. If anything, I would have to get a different triple rare. Ah, we got Edwig again. And then Ellie. Yep. In packs where you get the reprint triggers, I believe it's also just 2 rares with the pack. Then, let's see. Just a pair of rares on that. Okay. Let's see what we got. 1 pack left. We got Rix. We got a heal. We got Nora. The crit. Then Catrier. Let's see. A draw trigger. Then Venetial. And the last card. Rarico. We end with a double rare. Yep. Unfortunately, no LSR in these boxes, and we didn't even get a double frame rare. An MSP would have been pretty awesome too. Well, that happens, unfortunately. And as far as I remember, LSRs should only be 1 per case, I think, which of course makes them very difficult to pick up. But we did get some pretty nice cards. We have the reprints of all the triggers here. 3 of them are crits, and I got 1 front. In terms of silver rares, we got 1 per box. Frame rares were 2 per box, which is still the typical norm. We got 1 over trigger per box. And in terms of triple rares, let me count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We got 4 boxes. Interesting. We got 5 triple rares per box in that case. Yeah. Didn't miscount that, right? Yeah, we actually got 5 triple rares per box. There was an Ellie in each of the boxes as well. And then, yeah. Was it? I can't remember for sure. I thought they still had the 4-to-5 ratio when it came to the boxes. Maybe I was just not paying attention. Well, that's a wrap for today's box opening. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys later. Have a great night. And if you guys are pulling this set too, good luck. And I hope you pull better than I did.